I won't knock that either. But I will say, going back to my previous rant about there not being that many good or great produced movies,
especially
recently.
kids movies.
Exactly,
they haven't came out with anything new for kids movies in the past.
But Toy Story 5, right?
No, they made 4.
Indiana Jones 5 coming out 2022. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, really.
It's just in the works. I don't think it's actually gonna happen.
Is Harrison Ford gonna be in it?
Yeah, but he's like 80,
broke, isn't he?
So old.
I will say, I mean, Pixar's just been kind of getting deeper and deeper, but like Coco is one of the best.
Coco is
freaking
amazing.
Seen.
I love that movie.
That's an incredible.
It brings
movie.
tears to my eyes when I watch that.
That's what's so cool about Surf's Up is like it wasn't even connected to like Disney. It's not DreamWorks, so like not Nickelodeon either. It was just kind of like its own thing.
It was its own entity, yeah.
It was just a sick movie that nobody even remembers. Although I hope a lot of people from our generation remember Surf's Up. I haven't polled, but if you're ever at a party with me, like, don't bring up Surf's Up, because I'm that kid. I'm at a party with 50 people. I want to sit and talk to you about Surf's Up, and I will for at least an hour.
Hell yeah.
PSA for anyone listening.
I wonder
if you want to talk about Surf's Up, though, like, I'm here.
Hell yeah, hit his lineup. I wonder if, it's too early right now, because I feel like, even though it was produced in 2007, I feel like not enough time's passed. And I don't even know if, like, animated films can really be considered this. Again, it's not enough time's passed, but I wonder if this will be one of those films where, like, eventually it'll be, like, a cult classic of the genre,
Definitely could be. It's its own genre.
Yeah, well, especially when you
Animated
said it did so
mockumentary.
bad at the start, like, and now looking back on it, it's seen as, like, it's given the respect now, in hindsight. I feel like that's what makes a cult classic too, right?
For sure.
So, I mean, it kind of fits those guidelines, which is definitely interesting.
I thought this movie, kind of changing subjects a little bit about like the themes of this movie. I thought it opened up an interesting discussion about how much a parent should encourage their children's dreams and how much they should like just be real with them and like you gotta make money, you gotta do something like responsible.
Right.
Because I think in this movie it was evident like the mother was like and the brother, they was like very dismissive about his dreams, and that's got to have like some bad effects. Like, I think it's, you need a balance of like,
Made him scrappy.
yeah. You need a balance of support and reality, I think.
I feel like, if your dreams get crushed from the start, especially from your core that's supposed to be your support group from the start, you're definitely either not going to follow through with your dreams or you're going to find you'll definitely adapt. But I mean, it's harder if you don't got people backing you saying like, go for it, let's try it.
And another thing, like with Cody, is like they actually do show it a couple times in the movie. Like they'll ask him a question about his dad, and he's just like, yeah, and I don't really think about it, bro. Like you can tell that he like definitely actually is affected by it.
No, yeah.
And that's probably like one of the things that leads like him to like his drive.
You know what's cool too, bringing that up and how you just said that, you could definitely tell like how it hurts him.
Yeah, like it's real.
You know what's funny too is like we say this and it's literally an animation, and it's like we're saying this about animated characters, and I think that just speaks to like how great of like voice acting the voice actors did.
Yes.
Like one scene I really want to touch on is towards the end when Zeke saves Cody and they're on the surfboard coming back in, and Zeke's like, "Come on, you're not a pal or whatever," and you can. Literally hear like Zeke like huffing, like, and it sounds like he's actually like out of breath, like paddling, and it's like these are freaking voice actors doing that for them to be able to like make it seem like they were actually the penguins. I don't know, it was pretty impressive in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this movie like seemed so like kind of different than other cartoons, because I wonder if they use like more, because I think movies now are just completely on the computer digitalized. Do you think they use like models like for this? Like
nah. I mean, like, I don't know, but that like I don't know exactly what it means, but like I said earlier, they captured like the actual physical camera operators, their movements.
That's kind of what I mean.
And they used that to like
earlier.
Put it.
And
to
you were
that.
saying this is no CGI. This is before CGI, right?
No,
I was making a joke.
Oh, you were. Wait, CGI just all.
Yeah, they're actors. The penguins were actors in this movie.
No, but you know how like obviously they did like drawings back in the day and like paintings of cartoons. It wasn't like animated, but is CGI just like all that animated process that basically means?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like it's just digitalized images. I'm pretty sure.
Another thing with how great the acting is. Another thing I found out just like today, a lot almost all of the interviews that they do in the movie, like when they sit the people down and ask them questions, they had the actors improv that. Like, they didn't know the questions going in. It was just like they asked them the questions and they answered really.
Okay.
Obviously in character, but like
Right.
Like that's I really like
It
that.
just felt really real.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's another touch to make it seem like, I don't know. Yeah. They did a really great job just making this movie very relatable, especially for penguins.
What do you guys think
Radical.
about Big Z running away? Like, there's got to be like some kind of theme in that.
For sure. I mean, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think it just really shows that, like, no matter how successful you are or no matter how high up you might go in, like, your ladder to the top, there's always at least that chance that you fall back down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Zeke's character just shows you kind of got to be humble, because he says at one point to Cody, he's like, I was too ashamed to come back to the land and like face my fans.
Pride.
Yeah, it's like you let your pride get the best of you. And I think that a lot of people who make it to the top let the pride consume them and their egos are huge. And it's like, I don't know, that could be super detrimental to not even like yourself, but like your mental, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you really have to face reality and humble yourself, because he wasted a lot of time because he couldn't get over the fact that he lost.
Right.
I mean, I think it was 10 years he was gone. Because yeah, it was the 10th annual competition. So like, he missed out a lot of time on like family and friends. And I think when he finally faced reality, and like his life got better. And I think that's a good theme. That's kind of what I got from him.
That's one of my favorite parts, when he comes back on the beach and they're like, Z, like, where were you? Why were you gone for so long? And he goes, you know, I was lost for a while, but that kid right there, he put me back on the right track.
I think that's
like, before that, like, he must have just really been like depressed and just like down on himself, lying down, not going to get the shells for himself. He was making his niece like feed him.
right. I think
the
that's
Shack for 10 years. Inside all 10 years straight. That's a long time.
Yeah. I don't know, I think that's another thing too, is like, we're going to get real deep, but like, I think honestly, a lot of the mental struggles that we all face in our lives, I think Zeke's character kind of shows it too. We self-project a lot. And
For sure.
I think that we all think the worst of ourselves more so than is actually true, maybe, like the way other people perceive us. And you kind of see that with that last scene where like all of his fans are like, where you been, dude? Like they all like, none of them were like, oh, like you suck. Like you lost. Like they're all like more so like, dude, we've been missing you for the past couple of years.
Why'd you come back, loser?
Yeah, right. And I don't know. I mean, I think that relates heavily to real life, where like often like, well, like if we mess up or something, or like in this circumstance, I don't know, if like you're an athlete and you fall from the top, I don't know. I think oftentimes
like
we think
LeBron.
that like, that's it for us. But yeah, I don't know. Your fan base will always get your back, I think, and the people that care for you.
Hey, don't talk shit about LeBron.
I know Andrew will always have LeBron's back.
But yeah. Another thing I wanted to touch upon and get your guys' opinions on was, so I guess in one aspect, they're kind of making fun of documentaries, but do you think in a way too that they're kind of praising like the documentary industry in a way? Because
mimicry is the greatest form of a compliment.
Right.
Flattery.
Definitely. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting too, because in a way, I think it's like a lot better than most documentaries too that are produced.
They really do it justice.
It's kind of crazy.
It's a great documentary. Even though it's
all right, let me hit y'all. What was your favorite scenes of the movie?
Okay. I think I got two.
Okay.
Mine is either when Cody and Z find the log and they build the board, and then he trains them. Mm-hmm. And like he's like, what are you doing, like trying to go on the wire? He's like, nah, you gotta start having fun before you do this shit.
Right.
And like they're just doing all this stupid stuff. Like he like makes the sand wave and he's got the toy. He's like,
it's kind of like wax on, wax off.
And he's doing it, and then he gives it to Cody. He's like, all right, your turn. And Cody's like, what? And then he does. He's like, oh yeah. And then Big Z's like, no joy, man, no joy, fail.
Right.
And then he finally gets him in the water. And then the other part is when Chicken Joe first gets kidnapped by the natives, the indigenous penguins, and they take him in, and they're chanting "To What I Like About You," and they're just like throwing the vegetables into the stew, and they're just like, let's go, we're eating good tonight.
Hell yeah!
And he befriends them because he's Chicken Joe,
Facts.
aka Napoleon Dynamite. He's awesome.
Yeah, I also like the Chicken Joe scene where they're in the competition, and he's just like doesn't even know he's in the competition, and
clouds.
somehow wins the whole
Yeah,
surfing
the
competition.
clouds.
I thought it was so funny, and he's definitely I'm surprised they put him in a children's movie. Honestly,
Yeah.
there was one line where he's like, oh, do you guys have the munchies? I'm like, what?
Well, like his picture too when he's surfing, his eyes are bloodshot. Like the man's clearly baked out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like they weren't hiding that at
fried
all.
chicken is what I call him.
Yeah, fried chicken.
He's fried.
That's funny. And maybe they put him in the pot too because he was cooked. You know, it's all an
Maybe.
illusion. It's all illusion,
Maybe,
baby.
yeah. My other favorite part of the movie is just every single time he says radical.
Radical, yes, sir. Yeah. Honestly, I think Chicken Joe's character shows in a way too. I mean, I feel like every character in that movie kind of relates to like, in some way, what you need to be in your own life. And Chicken Joe kind of shows that like, you don't need to be stressed the whole time throughout the whole ride. You know, you can kind of take it easy a little
Yeah.
bit, and life will get you. You know, life will carry you along a little bit. You just kind of got to go with the flow.
It's the vibe. And
Yeah.
then Lonnie's character, she kind of shows you like the importance of family and caring for the people that you love.
Right.
Because, you know, like, she's Z's only family. So, she, like, whenever he needs something, you know, he's doing nothing. Like, she'll just, like, walk into the jungle. Like, who knows how far she's walking to go help her uncle.
Yeah.
It's like, that's family. That's what you got to do.
Those people always got your back for sure. What were you gonna
See what
say,
you were
Andrew?
about to say.
I forgot.
Must have not been important then, as they say.
Definitely not important. I was thinking about Joe.
Little chicken man.
But okay, so ready? So now going to Lena. If we talk about Lena,
Lonnie.
Alana, sorry,
Lonnie.
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 There we
Okay.
go. So if we talk about Lonnie real quick, and going back to Zeke and just like the way he kind of brought himself to be, I think it's also really interesting too, like the burden that like Zeke kind of puts on Lonnie in a way, because like she's the only one who knows who he is, and she has to like keep his secret throughout that whole time. And I feel like going back to the whole thing of letting like your own pride get the best of you, like not only does it affect yourself, but it also affects like the people that are close to you and like the people that love you, you know? And I feel like you might not necessarily realize the burden that you're putting on others by letting your own like personal like issues get in the way of realizing that they're not as big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she was a little distracting. Like he was trying to win the competition, and she kind of
She's sexy.
she's very selfish.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. So, yeah. No, if we're going to be real, I mean, that's one good looking penguin, huh?
Woman, am I right?
100% real.
10 out of 10 would take on a date for fish and sticks. That's what they're called, right? Fish and chips. That's, oh, damn it.
Or fish sticks.
Or fish sticks. That's what I was thinking of. I was in between the two, you know, give me a break.
So, see, like, what was your favorite? Wait, no. Would you say your favorite part was when he was surfing?
Yeah, like when Chicken Joe was
At-
just like flying through the waves
At-
during the competition.
Afterwards, when they're like, Chicken Joe, how does it feel to win?
I
Say I
won.
won?
I won. Also, I just gotta say, horrible location for a surfing competition with the jagged rocks. Like whoever made that a thing was should be fired.
Yeah,
I think
honestly.
it was probably the sea otter guy because he wanted carnage for the
Reggie.
Yeah.
So, Reggie Belafonte, what a man. He really represents just like that. He's just a leech.
Yep.
The guy who like puts himself into this like pool of very talented people, like, you know, it's like the top level of competition, and he literally just like finds whoever he thinks is gonna be good, and it's just like he hops on their wave
There's
so
the
that they
leech.
can like bring him to success.
kind of like the NCAA.
Like he did that with Big Z, then Big Z dies, so he's got Tank. He's like, oh yeah, Tank's my guy.
Right.
And then after like Cody's first run in the finals, when he does like really good,
Oh, he's like, we're taking this kid to
Reggie
the top.
grabs and he's like, if you win this thing, like we can go really far with this. And I was like, dude, what did you do?
Right. Honestly, I wonder if that's supposed to be a shot at sports managers.
Oh, for sure.
Probably, yeah. And like, I wonder if it's changed in the years
There-
after that movie, but yeah, that's crazy to think about that. Like,
crooked promoters and sponsors
Right.
and shit like that.
and you kind of see that too. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Jerry Maguire, but
I haven't yet.
that movie basically follows sports manager
He's an agent, right?
agent, sorry. And I don't know, it's the same concept. Like in that movie, you got Jerry who he has this like idea of being like a small time agent again, who's just focusing on the one client, but gets so caught up in that fact that like you got to represent as many as you can to get like as much profit for not even yourself but the company. And like especially in the sports industry, I think it happens so often. But you stop viewing the athletes as people, but
Yeah,
more so as like numbers